Alright guys, moving forward, we figured out all the measurements for the glass. We figured out how we're going to be assembling it, where the panels are going to be located, how they're going to be installed, the thickness of silicone, all that kind of good stuff. We got it in black and white on a piece of paper so we can always use it back as a reference. Alright guys, for those of you that didn't watch the last video, I want you guys to be caught up. So what I did is I made a quick little recap that I'm going to show you guys right now so you guys can be on the same page as us. And what we did is just basically calculate on paper the dimensions and exact size of the panels that we're going to be using for the 60-gallon tank build. So if you missed it, just take a look at this clip right here so you guys can all be on the same page. Alright guys, hopefully you guys understood that right there, because if you guys didn't, there's not really much I could tell you besides go take a look at my past video, the one I loaded before this, part 2 of this reef tank build. That'll cover it in more details. With that, we can move forward with some of the parts and the tools and stuff that we're going to be needing to build this 60-gallon tank. A measuring tape, very important guys. Learn how to read a measuring tape for sure, and to just measure your glass, measure it twice, measure it 3 times, whatever it takes to make sure that it is the measurements that you need, that you calculated here on paper, because these measurements don't lie. A measuring tape doesn't lie. Measure the piece of glass that you ordered and make sure it is the right measurement. I do definitely stress that, guys. So moving forward, we got the measuring tape. We got some masking tape, some painter's tape, very straightforward. We got like a one that's about 3/4 inch thick. We got one that's about 1 1/4 inch thick. And I have 2 different sizes. I'm most likely going to be using the thicker one because I like to use the thicker one. It just kind of keeps the glass a little bit cleaner from the silicone, gives me a little bit wider space to work with when I'm applying the silicone. Other than that, we also have the acetone here, which is going to be my glass cleaner, and we have paper towel. So I'm just going to be applying some paper towel, acetone, boom boom, applying some acetone, and just wiping down the glass front and back, and also the sides around the edges, the whole thickness of the glass. So we have that. Once the glass is pretty much clean, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be masking it. So first we got to clean it, wipe it down, and then we're going to mask it. Again, every time you do handle the glass, I want to let you guys know that you do have oils on your hands. Maybe if you use gloves, it might help. But the oils from your hands and whatnot, just to kind of be prepared that you're going to be wiping the glass more than just once. So wipe it now so the tape applies properly. Once the tape applies properly and you're done handling the glass and you're ready to silicone, I suggest giving it another wipe. And you'll see that we're going to do that moving forward later on in the upcoming videos. So if you guys watch my other tank build, 120 gallon, I have previous videos on my channel. You can maybe find them in the description of this video, or just scroll through to some of my past videos and have a look. But when I was building the 120 gallon, I was using these clamps. These are 90-degree corner clamps. These are made out of metal, and you basically just turn them on either end, and the clamp just kind of clamps it down and kind of holds it. You'll be able to see that a little bit more in detail. We got 4 of those. We have one on each corner of the tank, so we're going to be, using those clamps later on. We also have a square. This is a square to make sure that things are square. So when I have, for an example, this is my bottom piece of glass and my panels are all pretty much assembled where they're supposed to be, I'm going to go and double, triple, quadruple check it and make sure that it is sitting square. So for an example, if this was my glass panel coming up here, I just want to make sure that it's sitting square. I want to do the same thing over here on this panel. I can also turn the square and check the inside. Right? I can actually take the square and put it on the glass itself and see how that looks. Boom. running nice and flush along the side. So a square is always good to have. It's just a nice reassurance to make sure that it is sitting nice and square and sitting properly and whatnot. So we're gonna have that on standby. So once the tank is cleaned, the tank's gonna get masked. Once it's masked, it's gonna get assembled, as in basically being held together. The next thing that we have again is the square. We're gonna double check that it is sitting properly. Other than that, there's one thing that I'm missing here, and that is a toothpick. I'm sure you guys know what a toothpick looks like. Yes, the one you clean your teeth with. It's a toothpick, and that's basically the thickness of the silicone gap that we're going to be leaving for our injection method. You're going to see more on that in the upcoming videos, but again, we're just going through some of these tools and some of the equipment and stuff and tips and tricks. But we're going to be needing a toothpick, so make sure that we have a toothpick on hand. I don't need it right now because I'm not ready for silicone. We still got to clean the glass. We still have to mask it. We still have to check if it's square. And after that, we're going to be ready for silicone. So with this silicone, I wanted to mention, I suggest if you're building a tank, probably get more silicone than you anticipate and using. I anticipate using approximately 1 tube, but therefore that's why I grabbed 2 tubes to make sure that I have this one on standby. It's not a good idea to start siliconing a tank and then you run out of silicone. So have 2 tubes of silicone. If not, if you need more, you can always return them if they are not open. Only open it when you're ready to use it. I just wanted to mention, guys, on the front here, it says permanently flexible, does not crack or shrink, waterproof, seal, stops leaks, same strength silicone used to manufacture new aquariums, non-toxic for use on freshwater and saltwater aquariums, long-lasting bond is easy to apply. This is a 10-ounce container for the caulking gun, and the company name is Aqueon. Here's the company silicone, and I suggest just reading the directions on your tube that you're going to be using, because each company has their own kind of procedure or method, and or drying time, curing time, and suggestions. But in general, you pretty much work with clean glass that is not wet, that is not cold, that's pretty much like a nice room temperature, that is not hot, and that is square, and that is cut to your exact measurements. So with these tubes of caulking, we are going to be using this caulking gun, and it's pretty straightforward. You push back the trigger, you pull back this bad boy right here, this little handle, so you can load up your caulking gun, and we can slide that in there. Just give that a little push, and once it's all cut and ready to go, you're ready to start caulking or siliconing, whatever you're doing. But this is a caulking gun, and I am using silicone. Okay, so to take that out, you just pull this bad boy back along with this thumb thing. Pull this bad boy out, pull out the caulking gun, and you can push that back in. So there's a caulking gun right there. We have 2 other tools right here. These other tools is just a simple knife, just a utility knife, and we have a set of pliers right here. And they're not needle nose, they're just regular pliers. And there's another important tool, is a razor blade. This is a fresh razor blade. I literally just took it out of the package. It still has a little bit of oils on it, which reminds me I should probably go give this a rinse, just to make sure that these oils from the razor blade don't go to my hands as easy and then go to the glass and then whatever. It's just best to probably give it a nice little rinse. So I wanted to mention the utility knife. One is to cut the silicone. This is a little tip and trick. I'm not going to be doing it right now, but I think it's best that I guys give you like a quick little heads up, so I can, it's like maybe a recap later on when I'm actually doing it. So say I wanted to use this bad boy right here. I pop off this cap here to preserve it from not letting it dry out. What I would do is, I'm not going to do is, I'm going to get my knife. This is the reason why I have this tool. I'm going to give this a cut, and you'll see more in detail when I actually go and do it. You can see the size that I'm going to cut. And what I would do after I cut it, what I'm going to do is going to be squeezing the tip with my pliers. And what that's going to do, that's going to turn this circle into a more narrow when it comes out. So when I go and inject it, in between the gap that I'm going to leave, remember that 1/16 gap between my panel? that 1/16 gap is gonna get injected with this silicone right here. And to help me inject it, it's very simple. You just cut it off like you would normally. You would squeeze the tip so it's a little bit more narrow, and then you start injecting, and you observe from the side that there are no air pockets. And that's pretty much it. Once you've injected it, you would wipe it with your finger and then move on to the next bead and remove the tape. We're gonna get through that. You guys are gonna all see it. I just want to give you guys a heads up on what's going on. This is no BS. LEOPAZZO TV, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. I pretty much went through the majority, or I would say all the tools that I'm going to be needing for this build. If there's anything that I'm missing, I'm definitely going to point it out to you. Now that I just said that, I just remembered. Another, call it, tool that I'm going to be using is basically a nice flat surface to build this tank. I'm going to be using styrofoam, and I'm going to be using my nice hardwood floors here in my dining room. But what I'm going to do is lay out a drop cloth. I'm going to put down the styrofoam. On top of that styrofoam, I'm going to be putting just a towel, like so, this exact towel. And from there, I'm going to rest down my piece of glass. Like this, almost like I'm on the table. I would like to build it on the table here, but it might be a little bit awkward. By the time I stand up, 24 inches takes me up pretty high. I'm going to need to like get on a chair to silicone this tank. That's not good. So it's always kind of good to think ahead. So I'm going to be building this actually on the ground, so when it's time to silicone, I don't need to be working off a chair. I can just bend down and silicone it nice and comfortably. Well guys, LEOPAZZO TV, once again, thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you guys learned something along the way in this video. I have more videos coming up. I just wanted to let you guys know that this is the real deal. I'm actually showing you guys the tips and tricks and process and the exact procedure that I do myself here at home to build this tank. It is more cost effective. It actually is fun for me. I like building stuff. I like making videos and sharing it with you guys. I would say each tank that you build, you find a little tip and little trick that you kind of find out, I guess, on your own to make your life a little bit easier so the next time you build it. So each time you build a tank, guys, you're only going to be getting better at it. It's just like practicing. If you could wake up and go to work for 8 hours, I'm sure you could wake up and build a tank for half a day or whatever it takes, a week, whatever it takes. You do what you got to do, take your time, do things properly. You can reference back to this video along with my past videos if you guys need any help. Also, if you guys need to touch base with me personally or just in general want to ask me something, hit up my email, leopazzo85@gmail.com. It'll be in the description most likely. That's a wrap. I got quite a bit of work ahead of me. I gotta get started.